Hi there, my name is Gary and I'm going to walk you through the assembly of one of our long sideboards manufactured by Arise Sun, distributed through Mountainside Products. And we are using our SKU, which is 405. Here's the first page of the assembly instructions for 405. So I'm going to walk you through the assembly of this. First, I've unpacked the box and I've got all my pieces all lined out separately here. I'll be walking through all the different pieces that we're going to be using. Down to the doors. I've got the back slots. I've got the top piece lining up over there. And here, as you can see, I've got all the different components all laid out so they're ready to go. Okay, so welcome again. Here we go. So my plan here is to do this completely unrehearsed. This is not a professional installation. To be fair, I've done 2 or 3 of these, but a long time ago. So I want to go through this. If I make mistakes, I'm hoping to show you how the mistake was made and how we can fix it and how we can go through this and install it. Nice. So I'm using my instructions here for the 405 sideboard. As I've shown you earlier, I've got all my pieces laid out. I've got my hardware over here. I've got all my pieces here. And we're just going to go to the first page. And I'm going to start assembling as I hear. So I need 4 dowels and 4 of the smaller screws. So this is step 1. 4 dowels, 4 of the 25mm screws. And I'm going to take sides 2 and 3. These are the sides, sides 2, sides 3. They look identical to me, so that shouldn't be a problem. And I'm going to take piece 9. I go back to my instructions. Piece 9 it's just the cross piece that goes on top of each of these. So there are other places that piece 9 goes to. So for now, we're just going to be mounting these ones here with the screws. There is a hole that lines up, making sure I've got, looks like I have a total of 6 piece 9s. And you will see there's the bigger holes are where the dowels go, so there's going to be 2 dowels here. Then there's a little screw hole, just a little pinhole right here. That's where the piece 9 goes into, and then 2 more dowel holes up on top. So if you're wondering where they go, it just goes on the top in that little pinhole. These end up coming flat. And if you ever find yourself making a mistake, it's just easy to go right back through the instructions and start over again. Although by checking all the pieces first helps reduce that possibility. Okay, so I've got the piece 9 in, and now it says I want dowels, and it says going in the top. So there's 1 point for dowel at the top of each piece. step 1. Step 2 is I want a whole bunch of dowels, 24 of them. So we're starting at, looks like we can put those aside for now. And we're needing piece 4. There's 2 long pieces. One has stain, one doesn't. The one with stain has a little number 4 on it. The one without stain has a little number 18 on it. So we are taking piece 4 right now. We're taking piece 4. We're taking 3 of the piece 8s. These are the piece 8s. And we're taking piece 6. Again, piece 6, there's 4 that are the same size, 2 have stain. It says 6 and it says up. The other 2 are kind of a different stain. It says 7 and it says up. So right now we're doing piece 6. And we're doing 2 dowels on the end of 4 on both ends. We're going to do 2 on the end of both piece 6s. And we're going to do 2 on the end of both piece 8s. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6 times 4 is 24. That's step 2. Step 3 is I am taking 6 of the bigger screws. The 40mm screws. And I'm going to be screwing. So this is piece number 4. You'll see one side has screw holes and the other side has lots of dowel holes. So the question is, and I'm going to look later on, the dowels go along the bottom. So it's going to look like these are the dowels, this is the front. The dowels are going to hold up these pieces. So step number 3 is I'm going to take piece number 6, and these look the same to me. Piece number 6 looks the same, so I'm going to put 6 there. And I'm going to put 6 there. And let's flip this over. This is how we learn. So I'm going to be looking at it from the back side. The stain side is down. I'm going to flip this over, so I'm looking at the back side. And the reason for this is that's how we screw the screw is going up into here into the back side of that. So you won't be seeing that from any of the front. We're doing this all from the back. So I'm putting that in. And again, piece 6 says number 6, and it says the word up. So this is the top. I'm putting that in. And I'm going to take this screw, and you'll see a little spot there for it. And I'm not doing things tight right now. I can tighten them up later. Sometimes you need to keep them loose to adjust things. There, so those are loosely put in. And the same thing is going to go with piece 8. I don't see any difference in any of these piece 8s, so it's not going to matter. There's going to be something in the middle. And screw it in from the back. And then the same thing over here. So again, piece 8's all look the same, so it doesn't matter what order they get put in. Now I'm just going to use a regular hand drill to tighten these up now that they're in place. Sometimes using a power drill can strip pieces that you don't want stripped. Okay, that's step number 3. Step number 4, I need 20 dowels. Let's see, do I need these pieces? I do need those pieces. It looks like I'm going to need the bottom shelf. Sure I've got everything I need here. I think I need this piece with the ends on it. I need, so there's 2 bottom shelves. You can see how the one has a little tongue on it, this one doesn't. Number 5 does not. Just going back to my first page. looks like it's the interior shelf. Based on the dowel configurations, this is number 5. Trying to see if there was a number printed on it. I don't see it, but it does have the dowel configurations for it, so I need that. And I need the rest of my dowels. Or a bunch of them anyway. So I'm now on step 4. I need 4 of the big screws as well. And 2 dowels on each end of this piece. You can see if you have a table that you can assemble this on, it's far easier than bending down on the ground and working down below. Set that there for now. I need piece 18. That's this other one, similar to piece 4, but it is not stained. And again, it's got sides with dowels, which will be the bottom, and without dowels, which will be the top. And now we need pieces 7, which is the back pieces for this. Again, it'll say number 7, and it'll say up where it should. That's probably all the dowels I need for now. If I recall, the rest are used for the top. So just like we did with piece 4 and piece 6, we're going to do the same assembly with piece 7 and 18. Just making sure that there's, so you'll see that the back side has these screw holes. So there's, for 18, this is flush, but this has a screw hole. So this is the back side. We are doing the same thing here. This is the back side for here. So all the mounting screws are going to be hidden. So one way to tell is that all your countersinkers for the screws to attach to these things are all going to be on the same side. I see the hole here for it. I'm using the same holes here. Otherwise, it's easy to flip them up and have them put in the wrong way, and you can have to go back later and take some pieces off and redo them again. And the other screws go into the bottom. So this should have, I think the front and the back are the same, but you'll see the dowels for mounting. Set that aside for now. Now we're going to flip this over and we're going to put those other pieces on as well. So you can see I've got the screw holes here, same thing from the back, so they won't be showing from the front. Them up now that they're in. So that actually took 6 screws. Or maybe the other ones I needed more from the previous one. So that's step 4. You can see it's now starting to take shape. If we turn this around, you can see that the stained part, which you're now looking at, is the front. Step number 5. Now we do a whole lot more attaching the screws. I take the sides, and each side is now going to have some dowels that are going to line up with that. Yeah, I can already tell that this is going to be far easier if I just put this on end. That way I can get everything. So I'm going to tilt this. Put these dowels in there. Those dowels in there. Those dowels in there. And just attach with screws. And tighten them up. And you can see from underneath I've got these angled slots here as well to screw these into the base. I'm going to do the same thing with the other side. Take this off for now. And I'm going to just lift this up and put it get all the dowels to line up. And assemble. And now tighten these up. Beautiful. That is step number 6. Step number 7, we're putting the top in. We've got a dowel on each corner, and then there are screw mounts on each of these. So it's probably going to be easier just visualizing this of putting the top on upside down. So I'm going to take this off and I'll show you what I mean. Stand that on its side for now. Bringing the top in. Now the top does have a front and back. You'll notice there is a little groove here. And that little groove is for flush mounting of the back panels. So this little groove is the back. This side without the groove is the front. So the front is facing me. I've got 4 dowels here, and I'm going to take the front, which is the stained side, and I'm going to put it upside down on top of this top. And find those little dowel holes. Beautiful. And now I'm just going to screw all these in. Yes, this is easier doing this from the top, or instead of having to reach up. And tighten those up. So essentially we're screwing the top to the frame. We're coming underneath from the frame into the top. Again, right now you're looking at the back side. So, hello. So we have finished step 7. Next step is to take those back pieces and nail them to the back to provide structural support. So this is the back. So I'm just gonna lay this down. And we've got 3 pieces. And there's going to be a stain side, which will be visible from the front. So we put the stain side facing front and the unstained side towards the back. And basically they just all fall into place here. And then we have a little set of nails. For tacking these all into the back. For the purpose of me building this, because I may be taking this apart after the fact, for setting up into a display room, I'm not actually going to nail these in. It's got a little packet of nails. And you just hammer them all in, and it's going to provide the backing, and then it's going to provide the structural support, left to right, corner-wise and such. But for now, I'm not going to put those in. And I'm going to lift this up, and you should see what it looks like from the front. There's our piece. If I had put these backs on, you would see how that gives it a much more finished look inside. Right now, I don't have the back on. So that would be step number 8. Step number 9 is to get ready to mount the inner shelf. We had some of these brackets that we used before. If you recall from one of the earlier steps, we mounted these piece number 9s to the 2 sides. Now we're going to take these 2 9s and they're going to look like this, not facing out with the notches, but they're going to be facing in. And again, there's a little hole here and a little hole here. Again, I'm just going to get them started and I'll pick them up later. Okay, this is interesting. This particular back piece doesn't have a screw hole to put it in. So I'm going to leave that for now, because I'm going to have to measurement. That's a mistake. That it may be best just to put the drawers in first, see where they line up, and then put the screw in, like if I can't figure out exactly where it should be. And the other side has a screw hole to put that in. This side does. Maybe what I'll do is I'll just measure it. Ah, I have this piece upside down. I put the ups on this one, I put it up wrong, so I did this one wrong. I'm going to pause the video because I have some mistakes. I had these pieces in the wrong configuration. And I can tell these are even facing the wrong way. I'm going to turn it around so that you can see the mistake that I made. And then I'll fix it and come back and resume the video. But I did make a mistake. So first of all, these two pieces, when I look at them, this one says up, this is the top. Here is the up piece, so this piece needs to be turned around. The other mistake I made, and I wasn't paying attention, both of these pieces need to be turned the other way. And I can tell that because one of the next pieces here is I need to put in the little plug to hold the shelf. They're both on the wrong side. So this piece needs to be flipped right side up and then turn around. This piece just needs to be turned around. To do that, I'm going to undo all these screws, lift the top up, and reposition those items. Okay, I'm going to carry on now. Interestingly enough, these all have holes and they all line up. Amazing once you do it right. So you can see all the unstained is now at the back. These screw holes are actually on the inside, but you won't see them anyway because there's shelves and cupboards and things like that. And yeah, there are holes here now where they're supposed to be. When I didn't see the holes, I should have stopped and said something's wrong, rather than assuming it was the piece of furniture. I should have assumed it was me, because it was. And now I can put these little L brackets in those holes right where they're supposed to be. It's amazing how well it works when you do it right. Okay. I'm going to turn this around. Hello again. Step 9 is done. Now step 11 is taking the shelf, which has a front. Looks like the front is a rounded edge and the back is not. And we slide it in. Just like that. Goes on these L brackets here, and the rest just slide over here. That's your interior shelf. Now we go on to step 11. Step 11 is assembling the front door cabinets, putting the catches on and the door handles. I'm going to, for the sake of ease, I think for the sake of ease, putting the doors on. I'm just going to handle it like this. I'm just going to put that shelf, kind of lay it down. So step number 7 or 11. So I'm taking I'm screwing the doors on, and then I'll make the drawers later. So I'm going to put the doors on, and then I'm going to put the magnets on, and I'm going to put the handles on the doors. So this is actually what prompted me to do the video. After selling many and many of these, I had a customer contact me and say, there's not enough room to put the latch or to put the magnet. And you can see there isn't a lot of room. Once I put that flat, there isn't a lot of room for that to catch. There seems to be less there than there does over here. This one seems to have more room. So I'm gonna put the screw in on this one, and then I'm gonna go back over to this one here, and maybe the cabinet door isn't quite sitting flush. If you look, remember I'm putting it on a table, so it should all be flush. Okay, so I have put in the magnets. There's a bit of a lip here, but not much. The screws are in fine, and the drawers are flush. I reset the middle one. That was fairly easy to correct that error, and I put the other one on. So all the magnets are on. I will turn the shelf unit back up and test the drawers. So the drawers are put in place, and it turns out the instruction manual is wrong. If you recall, we were looking at where to put these magnets and there wasn't really enough room there. I consulted with the factory, and these are all designed to have the magnets placed at the bottom. Each one, they're placed at the bottom. Interesting enough, by putting the magnets at the top, I had to change the magnet strike on one of these drawers. Putting the magnets at the bottom, everything lined up the way it's supposed to. So it kind of goes back to my earlier issue with finding the holes here. If it doesn't line up, there's probably something wrong. Need to change how things are done. In this case, the instruction manual is wrong, and I'm going to have to adjust that instruction manual. So all the magnets are designed to go at the bottom, and I'm going to show you how to do that in just a second here. So if you've never installed one of these types of magnets, I'm going to show you closely. You can see that it's not just a fixed hole, it's actually an elongated hole. And the idea is that you can put it in place and you could micro adjust it if you want. In this case, these strikes are meant to line up pretty much right along this line. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten that up. I'm going to put the camera down. I'm just going to tighten it up. Okay, so the magnets are now in place. The drawer should close and latch properly. We will carry on. I've just finished looking at step number 11, putting in the magnets. Now we're just going to put in the doorknobs, and we'll be finished step 11. Hello again. So these doorknobs are very straightforward. Got this little bag of screws. There are 6 knobs, one for each of the drawers and one for each of the doors. And this is just as simple as putting the screw in through here and then putting on the door knob. Use a screwdriver to tighten it. And I'll go ahead and do the other doors. Okay, we are getting to our last stages here. I have put our sideboard down on the floor so we can finish the drawers. One thing of note is I was putting the knobs on the doors. As I mentioned, there's 6 knobs with 6 little bolts. Turns out that the bolts are different sizes. There's a shorter bolt and a longer bolt. Use the longer bolt for the cabinets, and we're going to use the shorter bolts for the drawer pulls. There are 3 of them. I've got all my pieces set aside here. I will only build one for the sake of the video, and then I'll finish the rest and we'll put them in and finish everything up. This is the last page, step 12 in the assembly manual. I've got my hardware and screws and everything set here. One thing to note too is the bottom shelf for the drawers look almost identical. They're almost square, but they're not quite. If you look, you can see this side here is just a bit bigger. Now they're all square. which means we need to just be careful as we're sliding the drawers in. There's going to be a right way and a wrong way, and we'll figure that out by looking how big they are. So the way these go together is there's 3 sets. So the side pieces have a thick groove. This is what's going to slide in that along this number 9 piece that we put in there. So you've got, this is going to be the outside of the drawer, the groove, and there's a slot along the bottom that this bottom part is going to slide into. Okay. So we've got 2 side pieces. We're going to have an end piece. Again, the bottom groove is going to fit the bottom groove in these. And it's going to go just like that. One way you can do this to make sure everything lines up is it'll hold it in place if you just put the boards in. See if we can figure out which way is the right way. That looks like a very easy way to do it. And then I put beautiful. So I'm going to just check and see which is the long way and which is the short way. So it goes in this way. So it goes in from the front to the back, it is the short. So these things are a little wider than they are deep. I think this is an easy way of doing it that way. Everything is flush. as you're putting these pieces in, you just want to make sure everything is all nice and flush. There, we have our drawer fill. We can put in our little handle, drawer pull, and tighten it up. Done. We should just be able to slide that right into the just like that. You can see how that pulled in. One other remaining part to this is the instructions say to take a little dowel, and there's got a couple little holes here in the back, and you can kind of put them in first, and the idea is you slide the drawer in, and once it's in, you can push those knobs out. They just keep the drawer from pulling out. They're not screwed in or anything, they're just in there loose. And there's our drawers. I'll finish the other ones, we'll put everything together and have a look. Okay, so we have finished doing the extra drawers. We've already assembled in the last step. You saw us put this here. Now we just put these ones in, and you can see these little dowels here for locking it into place. So I will just slide these in, push the dowels in, and it goes in. Do the same for, we're done. So you can see I had to change the magnets from the top to the bottom. I'm gonna fix the instruction manual for that. But everything else, we got my back on, everything else lines up beautifully. And we're done. So thank you for purchasing one of our sideboards. I hope this instructional video worked out well for you and helped you identify a few of the mistakes. I would say that keep note of the screw sizes as you're installing it. First of all, we had some pieces where we had to flip them around, make sure we had the right side. There was a couple different sizes of screws that are a little bit different, and I'm not going to say I used some of the wrong screws, but it could have happened. So just make sure when the instructions say to use a certain size screw that you're using those, because sometimes either one could work and you may not notice the mistake till you get to the end. As I've heard can happen, and you realize you short some screws, but I've cleaned all that up. One other note about the back, I put the back on. Notice earlier on in the process, those three back panels, I said, well, let's leave it for now. I don't want to tack it on because I'm going to use this for something else. It worked out well for me, but if you're having a problem with squaring up the board, usually it's because if you're leaving the screws loose and there's some play, the back panels help square everything up. So one idea is don't tighten everything up until you get the back panels in place. Then you can put those in place, square everything up, and then tighten the rest of the screws. I did find it easier to install, for example, some of the drawer slides with the back panel off. So just something to think about when you're doing it. Thank you for your purchase. I hope this went well. Please feel free to contact us if you have any questions.